And that's it's a fun exercise when you start looking at the numbers of those that came before. Kenny Shaw was always beloved. This fan base loves them some Kenny Shaw. So when I saw the number was 81 today, I was like, Kenny, that's a number I do remember. I'm terrible with numbers a lot of times, but Kenny I'll always remember. That guy was tough.
In modern times, that Oklahoma game, I believe we would have the football after a targeting foul.
Oh, in modern times, people are tossed left and right. But it was, listen, in real football, that's just a good hit. Tough play.
It was. He might have caught the ball, too.
Yeah.
Might have caught it.
Yeah.
But at any rate, Kenny was among the toughest that I've ever seen at the position because he took 4 or 5 shellackins in his career.
Tomorrow we get to Rashad Green Day.
That's right.
We're back-to-back receivers kicking ass.
Coach Dugans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Rashad went on to break all the records. So
that's true.
You got to give it to Rashad is the problem.
Yeah.
You got to give it to Rashad at that point. But yeah. So that's where we're at. I mean, I will admit to you that I always look at that college football number more than I do the numbers to Florida State football. I love Florida State, obviously, and we did the central theme on this show. But college football, the start of college football is just a celebration. It's like all that's right in the world. Like, oh, my God, we made it. The never-ending summer is behind us, and we've got football now to satiate whatever troubles we may find jumping around our brains. You can just sit down on a given night and watch college football, knowing that is your out. That's your pacifier for the week is a beautiful thing. So we're 72 days and 20-some-odd hours away from the start of college football. That when he gets into the 60s, it's real.
Yeah. Oh, well, and in our job, the way I look at it is
camp open.
How far away is August 1st? Because it's roughly, give or take, a few days from August 1st every year with camp. That's 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
When you say 6 weeks until, I don't feel like there's enough time now. Bed Bath & Beyond, which RIP, but I don't think there's enough time. That means there's a month until we go to, it's actually 5 weeks because it's a little bit later this year.
Yeah, to
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte.
For the ACC kickoff. Dude, it's right around the corner.
So we get back into the age-old discussion. I do this all the time. Certain weeks, as opposed to months, as opposed to years, as opposed to days, as opposed to hours, sound closer and better. So when you say 6 weeks, that feels long to me. 42 days feels like no time at all. 42 days, my God, it's nearly on top of us. We should leave here now.
Well, 72, right? Versus 6 weeks.
Yeah, so what did I say? 6 times
42.
Yeah, 42.
I agree. 42 sounds a hell of a lot better than 6 weeks because it is. But 72 versus 6 weeks, I'll take the 6 weeks.
Yeah, man. So 72 days to the start of college football. I don't know which sounds longer or shorter there. I'm wearing on it.
Think about it this way. Everybody's got a July 4th holiday or vacation that they do. Most everybody. You got that. You've got the U.S. Open this week in golf. You've got the Open Championship. Yeah. Outside of that, there's just 3 other weeks that exist. It's beautiful.
Yeah, U.S. Open begins tomorrow. Can't wait. How to survive the Open in the rough. Pray for par. Can you get up and down from brutal lies? How well do you score around the green from the rough? Who are the dark horse players? We'll throw some names out there today to have some fun, to make you some money. I do this all the time. Look, Sepp Straka has made 75% of his cuts in majors, so looks comfortable at this level. Sepp Straka to make the cut. You want a little bet? I'll give you a little Sepp Straka in the opening segment to make the cut. All right? You want another one? I got another one for you. Patrick Rogers. Patrick Rogers to finish in the top 30. Let's go. I got 30 money picks for all you guys. Let's go. These are value odds, Tom. These are picks where guys have shown, that they're trending in the right direction. There's some other factors. You asked about Patrick Rogers. He played at Stanford. Played this course 1 million times. Has played well on this course. Has a strong record here. Has 5 top 30 finishes in his last 7 starts. He's consistent.
It's a weird question, perhaps out of left field. Is Daniel Berger alive?
Yeah. So, he had surgery and he's been out for the entire season. And it's weird you bring this up. Florida State's own Daniel Berger just made news last week. I was doing some research. He's hitting balls again, starting to feel better. He had a serious injury he had to deal with. He tried to play through it. He wasn't getting the results that he wanted. His advisors said, you'd be better off right now just taking the year. This is what Brooks Koepka needed to do, but wouldn't. And it led to an emotional breakdown and a crisis that we all watched play out during full swing, where he couldn't handle not being able to do things that his body had been able to do before. So he could think them and he could see them, but he couldn't execute them. And he flipped out, quite literally flipped out and made all kinds of crazy decisions. But Daniel Berger was in a similar position where he had a couple different injuries. And next thing you know, he was not getting results. He's missing a cut. He's not hitting the ball well. And he was a model of consistency prior to that. So this is a guy who made the Ryder Cup team. So you're looking at that thinking, hey.
Yeah. Well, and in Brooks' second major championship victory, Daniel was right there in the leaderboard at Shinnecock.
Mm-hmm.
This is a layout, I think, that screams Daniel Berger. And it's just a shame.
Yeah,
as you were looking at the way the course, you have to matriculate the ball around the course, the slopes.
Oh, it's a hard course. It's a fun course.
This course has something for everybody.
Oh, I love this course. A lot of people don't. I love this course. And I will tell you this. Trey Jones told me this. And so straight from the horse's mouth, Florida State's played on this course and the Walker Cup and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. They all universally praise this course, that a lot of different kinds of players can win here. Yep. And mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you got to be on top of your game. There's challenges for everybody here, but it's not just a bomber's paradise. It's not, and it's bent grass, same as at Augusta. So you can, there's a lot of things here that can help you out.
Well, the thing that I really love about this course is across the 18 holes, you'll see something from one of your favorite places. You'll see something from overseas in Scotland.
Yeah.
You'll see everybody hated the place up in Puget Sound. What was that called? That course? It's Jordan. Dustin Johnson choked it away on 18.
Choked it away on 18.
Chambers Bay.
Yep.
So Chambers Bay, you'll see something from there. You'll see shots like Augusta has with the slopes, and you've got to hit an opposite trajectory off of a slope. It's got something like you'll see at the match play, which is now defunct, but these huge elevation changes and the rolling fairways. This course is outstanding.
Small greens.
Okay.
Really penal.
The postage stamp over there, which is one of the famous short par threes in the world.
Yep.
Or if you want to go up the coast to Pebble Beach, was it number 7 at Pebble? Is one of the shortest par threes in the world. This could play at 77 yards.
Yeah. No, it's a fun course. This will be a great, and we get to watch it in prime time, guys.
Yep.
So this has been a good week. Last night hockey ends. Vegas wins, going away 9-3. The run is over for Florida, for all the South Florida teams, for that matter. Tragic to see that happen, huh? But so Vegas wins, and unfortunately that was 9-3. That wasn't worth watching. But I watching Denver secure a championship since the last time we were together. There's a lot to like about that. There's some things that carry over to leadership that I really like that Jordan Travis has, that Jokic has. And it's sort of this quiet leadership, this deflection, this very focused, I've got a job to do sort of leadership. Murray does this as well. If you think about that tandem, you think about the guys that lead a team. First of all, for Jokic, 600 points, 269 rebounds, 190 assists throughout the playoffs. He's the only player in NBA history to lead all players in each of those categories in a single postseason. Nobody's ever done it. Not Michael Jordan, not Wilt Chamberlain, not Bill Russell, not anybody. Nobody but him. That's it. That's all. The players that have ever done that before. So the next time somebody tries to tell you he's not good or tries to downplay his greatness, throw that stat at their ass. Nobody before has ever done it, what he just did. Now, does that make him better than Michael Jordan? No. But if you're in a category in which the conversation is around those kinds of players having either barely not achieved this or having done that, you are an all-time transcendent player.
Yeah, the number one thing to me, we talked about this a week ago, but 30, 20, 10 triple doubles. There's been 5 in history. Yeah. He's got 3 of them. 5 in playoffs history, and he's got 3. So he's doing, in his own regard, what Steph Curry did to the three-pointer, which is he's achieving numbers that nobody had done before, and he's going to be miles ahead of the competition
when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
Steph's a good example. I thought Steph was, at first I thought that was cute, what Steph was doing. Yeah. Later on, I realized it was a level of greatness that had never been seen before. And, every era is hard to compare because I get it. If you're from a bygone era where you could put your hands on a guard, you'd say, well, that wouldn't have happened. No, probably not. But he's not. He's in this era.
But
and
maybe.
He's doing something that nobody's ever done.
Maybe it would have because nobody would extend. They'd say, you can have that shot. And you say, oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, he's the first guy to step across from the logo and just decide to make that at 40% clip. Sure. That's a toughie. I don't want to extend my defense that far because he's going to blow past me. Goes, oh, yeah, that's the other aspect. He also has the best handles we've ever seen. So, yeah, there's that too. Listen, they run the offense all through Jokic in that situation. You watch everything that comes out of this. It's open looks for other guys. It's Michael Porter Jr. wide open shooting threes because that man is facilitating all that. And Murray's a great player to play with him. It was fun to watch. There's one moment. I want to go back to when in the only game they lost in the series, because I think that is a better tale of who he is and the reason that they're steady and the players respect him as a leader and work through him. And this is where I was getting with Jordan Travis. I like in today's era of look at me, because the kids grow up on cameras. This is not me making fun of. This is the direct result of everything you do is filmed or photographed, and it creates a mindset for the competitors and really of students today, just in general. And you have to be mindful of this as a parent when you're talking to your kids, because it's totally different than when we grew up. Thank goodness there weren't cameras around every turn. And I would dare say every celebrity that came before the modern era where we all carry around pocket computers that act as elite cameras, that we're thankful that happened, because my early days of college would have seen me thrown out if somebody had filmed the stuff that was going on there. And the silly parties you went to in high school or whatever else. So it is a very different mindset, good and bad. The bad, though, is that everybody is a showman and everybody is constantly trying to show you they care. But a lot of times it's contrived. They know the camera's running. So if they lose the game or if they win a game, they have almost a pattern response to those outcomes that they want you to see. They want you to see, especially if they're stars, because they're creating a brand and they're creating money for themselves down the road. They're creating the narrative they want set about them. So they understand, in many ways, through no fault of their own, nonetheless annoying, that because the camera is on them at all times, they have to show you something of who they are, or at least what they want you to think they are, at the end of a quarter, at the end of a good play or a bad play, at the end of a game, at the end of a good result or a bad result. And that drives me bananas, because that's where you get the let's go and all the stupid stuff in the camera that everybody then regurgitates and imitates over and over again. You see Tom Brady do it once, you've seen him do it a million times. I don't know who started it, but it's stupid. And it's really annoying, and it's fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. And then every now and then you see a guy where there's none of that. And I'm not saying I'm Mr. Go hand the ball back to the official after you score and act like you've been there before. No. Celebrate all you want. Celebrate. It's hard to score. I said this yesterday on headlines. Spike the ball. Do whatever you want. That's fine. Within reason. Obviously, that's fine. Celebrate after home runs. I don't get mad after that. You can spin the bat if you want. I mean, again, within reason. We all know what that is. It's the classic, we all speed. Let's not do 120 and a 70. I got
that
you.
line has moved in recent years. That line has moved about what you can do, how long you could admire
how long
a home
you
run.
can do. Yeah, it moves. It ebbs
Somewhere
and flows.
Brian McCann is just angry at all times because of it.
Right. So you don't want to quite be him, but at the same time, there's a reasonable amount of time that you're allowed to celebrate a personal accomplishment without somebody deciding, I'm going to take umbrage with that. Maybe your knees will pay the price. These things happen. You have to be aware of where it is at all times. I got it. What I like to see is something that is genuine, whether that's joy or anger, frustration, sadness, whatever it might be, as long as it feels like it's genuine. They lose that game to the Heat, and Jokic is walking off the court the second the clock strikes zero. And there's no pouting, there's no frustration, there's no yelling. There's also, no false, body language. It's just a steady, I'm walking to the locker room. But while he's walking to the locker room, the camera catches him coming off the court because they're hoping to catch something. They want to see something that they can, utilize in their highlight reel. And he doesn't give him anything. He's just walking. And the whole team is doing the same thing. They're kind of just walking. Game's over. And you could see he's processing, why did that happen? What did we do wrong? They're trying to learn from what just happened. It's a game. And when you play at an elite level, when you're trying to win championships, in Florida State's case, trying to get to the college football playoff this year, you're going to come across a couple of other teams that have the capability of stopping what it is you want to do. And you have to figure out why that's happening. You have to do it in game, and certainly you have to do it after game if you lose one. But what you can't do is be worried about all of the other outside stuff. It's got to be about fixing this now or remedying this set of circumstances, whatever it might be, because other people will obviously take notice and follow. Jordan Travis is not a vocal guy. And this is where the comparison, I think, is apt. Am I saying Jordan Travis is going to go on to be the all-time greatest or one of the greatest players in college football history or even Florida State history? No. It's a chance. There's a chance. If they go win the national championships this year and he was a Heisman, we'd be having a different conversation.
Runs for another 600-700 yards.
Yeah. So, there's a chance. But here's what he does, and here's where he's similar. He's not very vocal at all, and Jokic is not vocal either. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like to talk about it. He doesn't want to have the conversation. But he's got to lead by example for who he is, right? And pick your moments. Pick your moments to pull guys aside. And this is where, when we get to watch practice, we get the added advantage of seeing facets of Jordan that nobody gets to see on a field in a game. We get to see it in practice. whether it was last year in practice when Micah Pittman had a tough day and dropped 3 passes, and that was very unlike Micah at that time. He wasn't a dropper. He didn't drop the ball a lot. He dropped 3 passes in a practice. In the third one, he got so mad at himself that he threw the ball against the wall, and he was cursing. Jordan Travis waited a tick, finished a rep, and then came over and slapped him on the back of the head and kind of made a joke. And I don't know exactly what he said. Whatever it was, it looked real, looked genuine. You saw Micah nod his head. The first chance he got, he came back to him, and play was made. That's a subtle form of leadership there. That's a subtle form of I got you back. That is not a look at me, I'm going to yell something, we need you. There's none of that nonsense. It was sort of, I think he needs this now. That's important. This team's got that, I mean, in abundance from a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think that the critical point there is that Jordan didn't turn into that because he thought he needed to be. That step in the process never happened, where he went from battling with Mackenzie Milton to this is your job from one offseason to the next. You didn't see a facade go up and a fake leader emerge, who wasn't genuine and sticking to his principles. Jordan has been very consistent, whether he was battling for a job or whether he had the job.
Yeah.
1 to 2.
One exception. One exception. The NC State game. It's really the only time where we saw him grappling with something that he had never had to deal with before.
Yeah.
And he kind of showed emotions in a way that almost seemed completely out of character for him, where he was a little bit petulant, frustrated and angry, kind of reacted in ways that certainly a quarterback cannot.
Yeah, I thought actually there was a little bit of that too in the Wake game, because there was this frustration because
the offense was really bogged down.
And they hardly had the ball, because we couldn't get stops. And so there's just this mounting pressure that every possession counts for so much more. This is the pressure that we wish to apply on the opponent this year, where you can feel that, man, if we come up empty again, this is going to be an insurmountable deficit. We can't go chase this down. We can't go run it down. So I thought there was a little bit there, but there's no doubt it reaches crescendo at NC State. But you didn't see him lash out and take these extra steps that a lot of players, a lot of young players especially, would do. It was an issue, but it was corrected pretty quickly. And again, if you look at the difference between the way he handled the NC State situation, in which a lot of his teammates were failing him, he was failing too, but he was being failed before he started.
A lot of drops.
And then the Florida game, which required him to go above and beyond the failures of his teammates.
Mm-hmm.
What a different response that was.
Maturity. And he continued to stay the course, and he's really steady. He's very consistent. When you hear teammates talk about Jokic and Jamal Murray and guys like that, it's that they're the least high maintenance players despite being the best on the team. You really love that, right? When your best players are the one with the work ethic and the ability to be even keel through the greatest heights and the lowest lows, right? You have an opportunity at that point to have the kind of unifying force in a locker room that allows coaches to really worry about other things, more important things like game plans and all that other stuff, as opposed to ensuring that every pocket of this group or this clique is working together. You don't have to worry about that when your best players are your hardest workers and the steadiest of emotions and the most consistent of workers.
Yeah, I'd argue that Jordan, and this is, again, seeing the outside, seeing practice and then seeing what happens outside the practice as they walk to campus and things that are away from football. I'd argue that Jordan carries himself with more swagger away from the field than he does on the field outwardly. I think he's more confident in life. Away
I
from
would
the football
imagine
field
a successful quarterback at Florida State would do that for you.
Right.
Yeah. But on the field, he is just another guy there.
Yeah, and he's happy to be.
Who's putting in the work. That's the way it has to be, quite frankly. I mean, everybody suffers together. It's hard work. Football's hard. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Discover seasonal sensations full of passion and flavor at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo.
Hey, guys, our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it quite literally every single day. I began using AG1 because, I'll be honest with you, I don't like to take a bunch of pills and vitamins, and I just wanted something that tastes great, was quick, and easy to remember, so I do it. I do it every morning when I wake up. I certainly have it right after my coffee and before I work out. And I will tell you this, too. It is a simple, effective investment for your health. You can try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. go to drinkag1.com/JCS. Again, that's all you got to do is go to drinkag1.com/JCS. That's drinkag1.com/JCS. Check it out. It's delicious. It's quick. It's easy. It's proven. Vitamins, probiotics, whole food source nutrients. Start your day with it. You'll feel better. I promise.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. Florida license number CMC 050334.
Parker Services, comfort just a call away. Parker Services, comfort just a call away.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
If you've been considering getting a new hot tub or upgrading your existing hot tub, now's the absolute best time to do it. Hot Spring Spas has the jets on full blast, and the prices right now have never been hotter. You can find huge savings at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, and we mean huge. For a limited time, you can get up to $5,000 off in instant discounts and rebates, plus 60 months no interest financing for qualified buyers. You heard that right, $5,000 in discounts. And that's not all. When you buy a hot spring spa from Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, you'll get a free consultation to determine the best placement in your yard for installation, a free accessory of your choice, and install can be completed in just a matter of days. It's the most aggressive rebate program that's ever been available to buyers from Hot Spring Spas. So stop by Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road today to check out their 12,000 square foot showroom with over 50 hot tubs on site. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
I need him to because I've got him in a couple. I've got him in a couple of pools, but this course just plays right for him. Jordan Spieth should play really well here. It takes a lot of creativity. He putts well on this kind of grass. It's wide fairways where his driver, which can get a little wayward, doesn't hurt him. You know, if you think about him winning at Augusta and you think about Chambers Bay, which you mentioned, and Birkdale and places like that, top six finishes in his last 11. So he's been in good form. And, they're bent grass. He's had an uptick in his career on bent grass. He's putted better there.
I didn't realize it was bent. And that is the velvet. That is the best. Usually it's Poe out there.
Yeah, no, it's bent grass here. So
Smooth.
This could be a good course for him.
But it is up to the USGA. This is very inside golf. Don't care. It's a slow week. If they turn these greens up and they burn them out, and I wonder if they're going to do that from the get-go, because the weather is going to be LA. It's LA. It's perfect.
Perfect.
It's perfect. 70 degrees. So the temperature's not going to help them bake them out. But there are some of these undulations with these pin placements that you can use almost as a receiver of the golf ball, and it feeds down like it's mini golf. But if they burn it out, that's not going to work. You'll have to be pinpoint precise, because there's another tier behind the hole or to the side of the hole, and so it'll just roll past if there's too much spin, and it'll roll into the bunkers, into the rough, off the front of the green. You'll see what I mean out there on Thursday or Friday. If they bake these things, you'll say, oh, that's a gorgeous shot, and it just keeps rolling, and you say, that's BS.
Well, they can't put any spin on it if they're coming out of the rough. I think the whole thing is just hitting from the fairway. Like, those guys are pinpoint accurate to the number sometimes. So if you're hitting out of the rough, you can't put any, you're not gonna be able to stop it, and you're gonna have a hard time. Yeah. So to me, it's accurate. You got to be accurate.
The other thing is bunkers are usually saving graces in U.S.
Opens.
Softest
in the world, just about there. Yeah.
This has potential for plugging and buried lies.
Yeah.
So yeah,
fun.
If you're in the fairways, you could score really low for a U.S. Open. I think you could be closer to double digits under par. But if you run into any trouble at all, there's a 7, there's an 8.
Yeah, I love the fact that some guys could go low and then turn around and throw up a 78. I mean, I like rewards for great shots, and I also like real punishment at a U.S. Open, especially real punishment for either being overly aggressive or not executing. And if you don't execute and you're way off beaten path and you got to hit from the thick stuff, man, well, that's a test of your game. That's what you want to see. All right, let's get back to football for a second. I wanted to do this because you and I were talking about it during the break. I know the boys at Wake Up Warchant, I think, unveiled the first part of the top 40. Did we do that already?
Smash as well. Yep.
And Smash did it as well. So what do we have so far? And then I'll get to ours. Let's.
So 36 through 40 has been revealed. We are now about to roll out the staffs, conglomerate, the pick for 31 to 35.
So we'll unveil that. But can I see the 36 through 40? I want to see.
Yes.
Do we have a graphic? I want to just
see
do.
It. Yeah. We'll pull it up in just a moment.
All right. I want to see it and go over together because we haven't had a chance to talk about others yet. I want to see that 36 through. There we go. Oh, and in between we got the 31 through 35. Okay. Tate, Kevin Knowles, DJ Lundy, Ja'Kai Douglas, Winston Wright. That rounded out. This was the composite.
That's correct. DJ Lundy was hurt at 38 by your boy here, not putting him on the list at all. Sorry about that, DJ.
So you didn't put him on the list.
Because I don't know who the third best linebacker is.
Is it Omar Graham? Is it DJ Lundy?
Is it Blake Nicholson? I don't know who it's going to be.
Whom we heard from. So we'll have to talk about that. I think, by the way, what this illustrates is something I've said before, Tom, which I'm concerned about. I don't like our linebacker room. Just don't like it. I don't think it's championship level. I don't even think it's a plus level.
I could have put in a slot in the top 40 linebacker 3 because this is about opportunity for impact. That's how we grade the top 40. It's just when you don't know who that player is going to be, it's hard to pick one.
For the record, I had Lundy at 37,
right.
So it wasn't like I had him way above where you had him.
I think it's up for grabs, and if you can find somebody who can cover, and this was interesting to me because Blake Nicholson, when he was interviewed yesterday as part of the newcomers, he was asked, what's the best part of your game? I think it was Aslan who asked the question, and Blake responded, well, I'm really good at coverage, sideline to sideline, making plays in coverage, because that's the modern part of playing linebacker.
We haven't had a guy who could do it in some time.
If he's telling the truth, he's your third best linebacker.
Well, to your point, I had Lundy and Omar Graham 37-38 because I don't know which of those two is going to be the guy at 3. I would think it's Lundy because of the experience. It's a fascinating endeavor here when we do this because this is a year where we have some real talent that gets snubbed. And all of us, I think, later on, looking back at the top 40, have some regrets, where you kind of look, you're like, yeah, you know what? I should have put him in there. I don't think I'm pretty sure I don't have Ja'Kai Douglas on my list. I never do.
I do because, again, with his shiftiness, he's going to be going against.
That's what I was getting at, though. I think you're right, and I'm wrong. I think he should have been in the top 40. I think I screwed him over.
I didn't put Winston Wright on my list, which is crazy because last year All of us had him on the list.
I've got him on the list. I've got him on the list.
You're one of 3 staff members to do that.
Yeah.
And
he needs to be on the list because, I mean, I guess maybe that's wishful thinking, but he has to be what we thought he could be when we brought him in. And I'm only asking you be at the lower level of the top 40 here as a slot guy. I would think that's possible if he's just back fully healthy.
If he is, he's a top 25 player. He's a top perhaps 20 player. If he's the same person that he was before the accident,
yeah,
he would be that high. It's just, it's hard to assume that because the evidence that we've seen is that he's not back to 100%. But maybe they're saying, hold on, big shooter, just go through the motions and then we'll turn it up in the fall. We'll see.
Most intriguing guy on the list and again, this was unveiled earlier on the Smash as well as Wake Up Warchant, that 36 through 40. And we'll give you, here's 31 through 35 composite in just a second. It's up there on the list if you're watching right now. But for radio purposes and later the podcast, I'll read those in just a second. I do like commenting on these players because there's a lot of intrigue around this team and these players and what roles they'll play and what level they're at in terms of the depth and the percentage of snaps they're going to play and how great their contribution could be to a team that is trying to win the ACC and get back into a position to make the college football playoff. Look at a guy like Kevin Knowles, who, I don't know, Tom, do you feel like Kevin Knowles is an afterthought?
Well, clearly he is. I mean, last year he was a starter. Everybody knew he was going to be a starter, and he did. He played through injury, but he did start, was it 11 games last season?
He played a ton.
I don't think I put him on my list.
He's not on my list.
Yeah. I did not put him on my list.
I don't even feel like he'll hardly play. I'm hoping Tough Love Cameron comes through here.
He's got the capability.
You watch such a dramatic drop-off from 2 guys in particular that it frustrates you to no end. One of them is at Colorado now, and the other one's Kevin Knowles. You're just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Where was the natural progression for the amount of time you were getting in your career arc? What happened there?
And he wasn't able to work with his new position coach. You know,
just stinks.
He wasn't able to go through full contact. That's just the way it was. So Kevin Knowles will get a crack at it in fall. Look, he's got a chance. It's like Winston Wright. He's the Winston Wright of the defense in that sense. His freshman year, he looked like he was on the brink of becoming a cornerstone defensive back. But the other problem with the equation here from Kevin Knowles' perspective is that Greedy Vance has gotten better and better and better, and he profiles as a slot corner. It's only one of those.
Good job, the GOAT, Travis J. We should put him in there in honor of Travis J. Hey, to answer James P., not B., why Tate Rademacher's in there. Backup quarterback's always kind of going to be in there. It's just, listen, it's not like we've seen Jordan Travis make it through a season unscathed. I mean, Tate had to come in and basically win the Louisville game for you last year. So I'd love to see Jordan get through this entire season without any problems. You hope not to see Tate unless it's in garbage time,
which would be a lot.
Well, yeah, there are opportunities certainly for us to be a big on a lot of teams this year. But I really, you can't underestimate the importance of a backup quarterback if he is to play in a season in which you're trying to win the conference. And let's say Jordan's got to miss 2-3 games. But then how valuable is Tate Rademacher if he's the second string quarterback? I'm assuming he's going to be, but again, that's
he's critical.
I can see why he would be there. Yeah. So here we go. Let's do the composite of 31 through 35. I think it is.
Yep. 31 through 35.
31 through 35. Here's the list now. Gilbert you only start at 35. Sorry. Darius Washington from the offensive line. He is a plug-play guy across the line. He is a kind of jack of all trades that you put in there. I don't think Darius Washington's going to start, but I think Darius Washington's a guy that, you need a guard for a day. There you go. You need a tackle for a day? Okay. Got to put him at center? Okay. But he can do that for you, so he's up and down the line for you.
Yes, I agree. This is a capable offensive lineman. There are 2 staff members on Warchant who did not put him in the top 40. You know who they are?
No.
You and me.
Hey,
that's how far Florida State has come, that this is a capable. This is not just.
Yeah, capable is the way I describe Darius.
Yes, but
capable. That's why he didn't make my top 40. He's just capable.
But he doesn't go in the game and you say, we're going to lose because Darius is in there. Watch him get blown by. Like
correct.
We did.
He's capable.
Remember, there was a right tackle when we made the trip up to Boston College nearly 10 years ago. I said, he's getting beat every play.
Oh, that was something. We had the coach's cam right there. We were right there, the bird's eye view.
Watch this. I know, Tom. You've said it 14 times.
I've seen it. I'm watching it.
True.
He got beat on every single play. Yeah.
Yeah. Darius Washington, replacement level player. WAR
Yeah.
wins above. He is a good player. He's a good player, but
He's
not
right.
top 40.
Yeah, he's right at 0, right?
That's why he's
not a minus player, but
right.
he's not a plus
That's
player.
why he's 35. Many of the staff had him a lot higher, but both you and I said, no, not in the top 40.
If we need Darius Washington, we got problems. I mean, I
don't know that I go that far. It means we've had problems. We've had problems. Doesn't mean that we necessarily will have problems.
All right, so this is an intriguing one. Kyle Morlock comes in at 34, and if you look at Kyle Morlock, the first thing I said to you was that he's a lot bigger than I thought he would be. Lower body, he was a lot bigger and stronger than I thought he would be. I thought that was important because, again, you want your staff on offense to be multiple, where you can't allow the defense to sub, where you can keep guys on the field and run whatever you want to run because they're capable. And in the case of Kyle Morlock, the question would be, can you block with him? That's a big target, a red zone target at 6'7". He runs well. Of course, he played his football shorter college, so you don't know the transition, how quickly he's able to make it. But if practice were a fair estimation, I would tell you that against much better athletes than he faced at shorter, he did more than hold his own. He was able to run. He was able to make plays. He was consistent. To me, the stage was not too big. He didn't seem overwhelmed, thrust into this role. And listen, he's not your 1 or your 2 at tight end. He's your 3. To me, the Biscuit's ahead of him. So Morlock will play a nice role. I think Morlock next year, not this upcoming year, the following year will be a star for you. I think he's just going to be a nice piece this year.
I was very curious to see how the staff would rank the tight end room. And everybody had Marquise and Douglas as their second tight end. In fact, 2 members of the staff did not have Kyle Morlock on the list. In this case, it was Corey and Ira. And I can understand that logic. If Jaheim Bellett and Marquise and Douglas are both healthy for the entirety of the season, then Kyle Morlock may not be that big of a factor. But he is absolutely fit for the Power 5 level as an athlete. This is not somebody who's
he's a good athlete. He's a big target. Yeah, I like Kyle Morlock a lot. I probably like him more than most.
You had him at 31. I had him at 34. So, yes.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
We're in agreement there.
I like Kyle, man. I think they're going to find a way to utilize that skill set. He's a talent, and you don't get many guys at 6'7" that run like that. Now we got 2 guys at 6'7" that can really run.
Yes, we do. Red zone.
This gets back to and that's why he was as high as he was on my list, because I think you put that out there with 6'7" Johnny Wilson, and you got real problems if you're a defense. This is a reason why, and putting together this list was fun for the first time in a long time, really fun, because what I did when I sat down and typed these out, I thought about, well, how best to utilize this player and what does it mean? And what does it mean in terms of snap counts and roles that they'll play specifically, and how valuable is that role? So you could come up with it. And Kyle Morlock, you think, in the red zone is going to make some big plays. So I like Kyle quite a bit. 33, Zaire Thomas. AZ is a kid that could be way up higher on this list if he just realizes his potential. The length and the fluidity and the athleticism and the body type, it's all there. I feel like he should be a star. He had a nondescript camp. He did nothing to merit us getting excited. He was just out there. And I think that's why he's this low on the list, because if you looked at his potential when he first got here and you saw all of the attributes, you'd say, that's a star in the making. Maybe. Again, he's young. He's very young. I have to remind myself that it's not right to take a second-year kid and tell everybody he's going to be a superstar. He played a ton last year as a freshman. As a freshman. So he's right on pace.
Yeah, it's just about that breakthrough moment for him when he locks it down. It has not come yet. Nobody on the staff had him in their top 30, which I found surprising as well. That means that we're all watching practice, and we're seeing that there has not been that breakthrough where every day you say 20 is one of the best players on that defense. He's got it in him. He has the instincts. In fact, towards the end of last season, one of the few players who could play zone and understood what to do in zone was Cesarie. I think part of it, this is unfair for the defensive back room. You have a new position coach who might have new keys and principles. I'm not saying they're overhauling the scheme. I'm just saying that you might be swimming. Some guys might be quicker learners, might adapt to his teaching style more. By the time we get to fall camp, I think we'll have a better indication of who was maybe swimming in spring and who just is not emerging, period.
Yeah. Well, and nowadays you got to sink or swim here. We're recruiting over top of you in both ways.
Yes.
And now you gotta get with the getting. I don't have time for you to be pussyfooting for 2.5 years. Let's go.
The size of these guys in this class, and a
It's
couple more spoke to the
completely
media: Conrad Hussey, Edwin Joseph, Jabril Rawls, to go along with KJ Kirkland and Quindarius Jones.
Well, you're bringing in real players now. I mean, let's talk about it. We're bringing in like Florida State level players, like we matter again.
They are large.
Take a look at that list again real quick. I was just going to say this. When we come back, I'll do 31 and 32. Take a quick break here because I think the discussion around 32 is going to be interesting. And then I think the same goes for 31 because you may ask me why. And I'll talk about that in just a second as well. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man was shot in the stomach during an early morning altercation at an apartment complex in Tallahassee. Early findings indicate an argument turned violent at about 2:30 a.m. Saturday at Blairstone at Governor Square Apartments, a complex on the east side of the capital city near the Governor Square Mall. Preliminary findings indicate there was a verbal dispute and at some point a firearm was produced. No arrests have been made, but all parties involved have been identified. Investigators are continuing to examine the case. The search is on for a man accused of hitting and killing a pedestrian before leaving the scene last month in Tallahassee. TPD released an update Monday about the May 14th incident at North Monroe Street and John Knox Road. The driver was identified after the suspect vehicle was recovered in Alabama. A warrant was issued and there are ongoing attempts to locate the suspect. TPD declined to name the suspect. This is Rachel and A with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Overcast this afternoon with a chance for scattered storms. High temperatures reach up to 90. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 74. Cloudy skies expected. Cloudy skies tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Daytime highs approaching 89. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 90.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I'm not so sure in the modern approach to football and the leaders at the end of every year for the best offense in the country that Florida State will have anybody in the conversation if it were solely based on numbers and not just efficiency and obviously wins and points and those kinds of things. Like, I think the offense is going to be prolific. I think the offense is going to be a top 10 offense. I think the offense is going to be a threat against any defense it faces because of the sheer amount of weapons that they have to utilize, coupled with a quarterback that, when all things break down, can just run for 25 yards and get down. all of a sudden you just have so many things you're worried about when facing Florida State. Size, good feet and depth on the offensive line, players that can bend and pull and really do things there. Multiples in terms of tight ends that can do a lot of things in the middle of the field and in the red zone, but can also block. Wide receivers that possess height and speed at 6'7" and 6'4" and 6'4" and 6'2". Slot guys that can move. Again, quarterback that if you're in man, you turn your back to him, can just take off and really dominate a game and sustain drives and keep opposing offenses off the field. But I don't know that any one guy dominates a game and vaults himself into a place that when you look at the nation's leaders, whether it be receiving or throwing, that you'll see our guys there. I think the only guy that really has a chance to be perhaps amongst the nation's leader when we're looking at total yardage and touchdowns, and Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson has a chance to be close to 1,500, 1,700 yard rusher where you would look and say, oh, okay, well, that guy is elite. And you look at yards per carry and all that. I think he has a chance to do that. But I don't think Jordan's passing yardage is going to be there because they'll have games where he doesn't play very long, and they'll have games where they don't really need him to. They're just running the ball. I mean, that Miami game, obviously he opens it up with a long pass right off the bat for the touchdown over the top and lifts the lid. But from there, we just emasculated Miami.
Sorry, that was the game-winning score. I just wanted to note that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. First touchdown of the game was the game-winning score for Florida State. But, you think about that, and then from that point forward, they just decided, oh, you're not strong enough. You're not big enough. You don't have enough what for or want to. You're soft. We're just going to run the ball at you. We're going to embarrass you on every play, and we'll run the same play over and over again because you've shown no real interest in wanting to stick your head in there. There can be some teams like that just aren't equipped to do anything about it, and so the receivers' numbers don't go way up, the passing yardage doesn't go way up, and then you're just able to kind of just do what you want on the ground. So your running backs will have good days, your offensive line will have good days, but the way that projects and the way that you're spoken about nationally probably suffers a little bit, at least in terms of the yardage leaders and the statistical leaders. It won't suffer in the way that they talk about you as a winning entity. You're going to be a dominant team offensively, and so certainly it will get its fair share of attention. It just will be, I think, a bit devoid of individual awards, and that's probably the biggest argument against Jordan Travis being in the Heisman race. Let's go back to this list here and look at, and it's a short time here we have to talk. Dennis Briggs, defensive line, 32, and Gilbert Edmond, defensive end, 31. Defensive end is a unit. I'll start there and then go back to Dennis Briggs. Defensive end is a unit that I'm not in love with. You've got elite talent in the form of Jared Verse. You're very good on the other side. You don't have a ton behind it. Gilbert Edmond comes in to try to provide some of that depth. I was not impressed with Gilbert Edmond in his first camp. We'll see what he does. I need him to be better than he was in camp, but that was a spring, so maybe he will be. And certainly he's played in the SEC. He's not going to be a bust for us. I just don't know that he's a huge difference maker.
He was not in your top 40. Gene had him at number 40 or 39 tie. And then everybody else had him 32 or better. And the reason is I think
he's going to be in the rotation
because he has to.
Well, yeah.
It's about impact and it's about the access to having an impact on the team. If you're the third defensive end, you're going to have to be on the field. When Patrick Payton is not on the field, you're going to be in that rotation.
Well, let's get into what these roles are, right? So you're looking at it as a pass rusher because that's all he really can be. He doesn't look like a guy that sets the edge to me at all. So I this is where I think Briggs could be kicked out wide again. And you may set the edge. And that's why I almost think, I do think he's more important to this defensive line than Gilbert Edmond.
You had him very high at 20. I had him among the highest on staff, but not up where you did. Yes, I agree.
Versatility.
I think he's top 30 for me.
This
is a guy that they list him as defensive tackle. They say they want to keep him at defensive tackle. I don't know. If you do a snap count of where he lines up relative to the football, I don't know if at season's end he's lining up as a 1 or a 3. I think he's more often setting the edge for you on rundowns. I think that's where he's valuable.
And I think he can do that. And I think it's the first time he's going to be healthy in 2 years. And I think he has the versatility to stay on the field. You can slide him inside, of course, or slide him out is a better way of saying it. I think that's Dennis Briggs' role. And I'm really rooting for Dennis Briggs, who was obviously screwed by a cheap shot against Louisville that I think set him back a good year and a half.
I also believe, I agree with that on third down, he should line up in the interior with him and a Braden Fisk type. You want somebody who's a little bit more twitchy on a third and obvious. That could be Josh Farmer, Braden Fisk, or Dennis Briggs. I don't know that we need to have Fabian Lovett out there on third and pass.
In that situation, yeah.
He's quick enough to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you want to play it. But if you're trying to contain snap counts and you're trying to give everybody put them in a situation where they can be the most impactful, Dennis Briggs on third and passing should probably be lining up over a guard or a center, I think.
Versatility played a huge role in my ranking him, Dennis Briggs, where I did. That's exactly why. I'm not telling you he's a dominant player. I'm not telling you he's an elite player. I am telling you he's a good player and a versatile player, and that's why I had him as high as I did. I think he'll have to play multiple roles for this team. Health also had to do with it as well. So
it's a theme for the defense. For offense, there's only one ball. That's the theme. How often is this player going to get the ball? Because there's only one of them. And then also you could look at some of the receivers and tight ends and say, man, they're going to draw great matchups. On defense, it's after you get through that first wave of defensive line, it's who's going to step up? Who's going to be the guy? We know that there are candidates, but there is no surefire linebacker. Sure. I mean, we know who the two starters are going to be, but to be impact players, there's no surefire lockdown corner or safety. And you could say the same, I think, when you get to that second and third level of defensive end rotation.
More football talk in hour number 2. I'll even start within the state and a lookout moment for a certain program. And our friend Michael Kelly is back in the news, who I haven't had a chance to talk to in a long time, but he's touting all things for this particular program, including maybe being on the move to a Power 5. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, everybody. It's Ed Dean, Florida's #1 statewide radio talk show, now in Tallahassee, afternoon drive from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Yes, highly entertaining, fast-paced, never boring. We always give you the story behind the story when you catch the Ed Dean radio show. And we are ready to go Tallahassee daily, 5 to 6 p.m. It's the Ed Dean radio show on Real Talk 93.3 FM, WVFT.
Honey, I just got a text from Dave. He wants us to come over for a barbecue. What's our excuse for not going?
Oh, no need for an excuse anymore because Dave got a new girl from Hearth and Patio.
Oh, thank goodness. Dave, we will be happy to join y'all this weekend, and congrats on the new grill from Hearth and Patio. My wife said she would bring potato salad.
Hearth and Patio invites you to elevate your grilling game this year with one of their amazing grills from Fire Magic, Royal Master, or Blaze Grills. Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, making barbecues great in the Sunshine State.
Honey, Dave said no raisins in the potato salad this time.
Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers. And that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270-146.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
The Atlanta Braves will play a doubleheader in Detroit today after a rainout yesterday. Game 1 this afternoon. Spencer Strider, the man for the Braves, another 65 favorite against Michael Lorenzo to the Tigers, plus 151, 8.5 over the total. The Tampa Bay Rays, a $2.80 favorite of the Oakland A's today, plus 240, 8.5 under the total. Florida Gators, minus 110 of the money line against Virginia, minus 120 at the College World Series this weekend at Omaha, Nebraska. Tampa Bay Lightning 16-1 to win the 2023-2024 Stanley Cup. Vegas won the Cup last night, beating Florida 9-3. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's. Today's topic, Father's Day. Yeah, I may have procrastinated a bit on getting my dad a gift. Honestly, same. But Kohl's saved the day. I found great gifts my dad will love every day, like Nike athleisure, stylish shirts, some grilling go-tos. Wow, your dad is one lucky guy. What can I say? He raised a smart kid. Wait, where are you going? Off to Kohl's to make my dad proud. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brainwater, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Now that the brutal North Florida and South Georgia winter is over, okay, we had a couple of cold snaps, but still, now is the best time to give your AC system a good cleaning. Dust can build up in your AC system, leading to higher utility bills and poor air quality. That's when it's E&B to the rescue. Our 21-point inspection and tune-up costs only $99 and gets things working their very best. So before the summer hits, get your AC spick and span. Call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning today.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Briggs, Zaire Thomas, Kyle Morlock, Darius Washington. That was 31-35 earlier here on the Warchant Network, if you will. We had both on Wake Up Warchant and the Smash 36-40, which featured Winston Wright, Ja'Kai Douglas, DJ Lundy, Kevin Knowles, and Tate Rodemaker. Is there a guy that didn't make the list, Tom, that, you think to yourself, I think we as a staff kind of blew it. This is a guy that's going to make plays? Because if that is so, I'm going to guess you're going to tell me that's either Keandre Jones or Tafasi.
Yeah, those are two guys I had that did not make the list that were in my top 35 or thereabouts. Keandre Jones is the one to me, more than Tafasi. I think I might have gotten a little overzealous with Tafasi. There's just so many bodies in front of him.
There are a lot of bodies, but he's a good player.
Part of the reason that I put him there was if you have two doomsday scenarios, one of which is Darrell Jackson's waiver continues to take forever.
I think we're going to be all right there. Hang in there, buddy.
I think so too. But, I'm waiting it a little bit. And then what if Braden Fisk doesn't adjust?
Doesn't pan out well.
To the Power 5 game as much as we like. I know Ayo's going to do that. So that's why I have him a little higher. But Keandre Jones in short yardage situations on the goal line, I think in multiple situations, perhaps outright by the end of the season as a starter at guard, that dude is just massive. And he's really, really smart, which just, it fits Alex Atkins to a T, except for he doesn't have that next bit of athleticism that we like to have. We like to be somewhere between Alabama of today and West Virginia of 20 years ago. When they were all 270 and they could pull and move. We want to be somewhere in the middle of those two things. Keandre just doesn't have the speed, but man, he will uproot you. If that dude could ever learn how to snap a football,
forget about it. Yeah. It'd be a beautiful thing. Yeah. No, it's fun list. It's a fun thing to do and kind of go through this and figure out these roles.
Do you have somebody that you felt was screwed for not being in the top 4?
Not being on the list? I don't know about screwed necessarily. I don't have a ton of arguments for most of the guys that didn't make it. I had Quindarius Jones on my list very late on my list. I think he was 39th or something like that.
As did I.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's going to play some. I will tell you, here's something for you, and I want to segue into what I teased a moment ago about another team in the state. I have thought to myself a little bit more about the fact that I was very impressed both with his interview and also just seemingly the way he's kept himself in really good shape. It seems evident to me Destin Hill may have something for us this year beyond what we could have ever projected based on a guy missing 2 years of football. He came in looking very good, and he sounded sharp and ready to play football and eager to get back after it. I don't know what 2 years away does to you when the pads come on. It's one thing to stand there at the dais and look good.
Right, but you don't have to be a featured player
No,
because this
that's what I
offense
mean.
is so deep.
And he possesses a skill that not a lot of our guys have, which is breakaway speed, game-changing speed. We don't have at the receiver position a ton of breakaway speed. So maybe he does, maybe he's a guy that helps you in special teams right off the bat, and that would be worth being in the top 40 alone.
Yes, only 2 members of the staff had him on the list, Aslan at 40, and then Ira put him all the way at 34. So Ira is a big believer in this. Yeah, he's closer to ready-made than you think. The argument you could make for Destin Hill to be a top 40 player immediately is kind of self-evident. Florida State was willing to wait on him for 2 years.
Correct.
You don't wait on somebody who's going to be your 6th receiver. You say, sorry, man, I wish it worked out. We will find some place that you can go. I've got contacts. I'm going to work the phones, and we're going to find a landing spot for you. In this case, they said, we're as loaded as we've ever been. We've only got 85 schollies, and we're going to hold one for you, even though it's been 2 years since you played high school ball. That in and of itself is quite the statement.
Well, he's got again, that kind of game-changing speed is hard to find. When you find 4.4 guys, it's a big deal. It's breathtaking speed and it's game-changing speed. How quickly do you learn the offense? How quickly can you acclimate yourself to getting hit again and doing all the things that you haven't had to do in 2 years? We'll see. But if it happens fast, look, he's a young man. I mean, he's going to be in shape as long as he just doesn't let himself go. I'm sure he kept himself in great shape. Well, he looks like he did. I have no reason to believe that he hasn't been preparing. So, okay, throw that in the mix. I mean, again, special teams. Can you return kicks and punts? Can you do that? Because if you can do that, you'll get on the field right away.
You return punts, you'll already be a fan favorite. You've been a fan legend. You've been of lore to the people who are dialed into Florida State.
You've been a unicorn is what you've been.
But you will be a legend if you're good at punt returning immediately. And what a story that would be. What if he was the starting punt returner against LSU? Here's a Louisiana kid who disappeared.
To the hizzy.
Reappeared.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, there you go.
I like that. I like where your head's at.
Get weepy on the way to victory.
Beautiful thing right there. Okay, so I brought it up. There was a question in the mailbag yesterday on Seminole Headlines that involved Miami and where they're at in this. And there's further stories today, a lot of stories out there about who's a fit to go where. Every day is another story of, the SEC wants us, doesn't want us, likes this team, doesn't like that team. Everybody's got a theory on this. Don't get overly concerned and or excited, depending on the tilt of that particular piece that you're reading. There are some that say the SEC can't wait to bring us in. There are others that say they really have no desire to because they already have a footprint in Florida and all these other things. All right, well, why do I bring this up? Well, because we're all clamoring for a better set of circumstances that sees Florida State make the kind of money that their national draw suggests they should be a part of or be able to access. And during the course of that conversation, Tom, you and I were texting, and it's interesting to note that a team like Miami is where they sit in all of this is fascinating and also hotly debated. Well, USF is not getting an invite to the SEC. But I mentioned look out for USF because I wondered at what point they would wake up and decide to approve the monies necessary for an on-campus facility. And when was it that USF would figure out that if you could keep kids on campus and have a facility there for them to go to, and this could feel like a legitimate university instead of one that was a commuter school. And, you were a part of a commuter school basically at Iona.
Yeah.
East Tennessee State was very much that way, by the way. If you weren't playing football, there were a lot of people that just went home for the weekend, these little country towns. You'd never see them. There's nobody on campus anymore. Well, USF has that problem. They've got a problem with that as well, despite how much they've grown academically, which is massive in my lifetime. It's unbelievable the way they're thought of now. But they couldn't ever really create a collegial feel and momentum in that way. So they now have done several things to try to become a school that matters in football because it's where the money is. And their rivals, UCF, right down the road, have done all these things as well. They've formally opened a full-length indoor practice facility.
Oh,
how about that?
Wow.
Yeah. $22 million indoor practice facility, in addition to shielding players from storms and blistering heat down in Tampa. Helped the Bulls host 4,000 high school campers this past week, okay? They received an invitation to the AAU, which we know is important to places like the Big Ten. Again, not saying that USF is going, but
that's a meteoric rise, though, for that university from an academic standpoint.
Oh, unbelievable. It's an elite group of, 71 research institutions. They're part of it.
It was not thought like that when I was leaving high school 15, 20 years ago.
Not at all. Hasn't been considered that for a very long time. So, when you think about conference membership decisions and who decides them, presidents do, not athletic directors. Presidents do. So this may carry some weight down the line for USF, right? It resonates in AAU membership. That's why Florida State's been vying to get there as well, okay? And certainly on the fast track to do so. We talk about schools that have elevated their status academically. They approved the budget to open a stadium north of the football practice facilities for the 2026 season. The building will house operation centers for football, as well as some other sports. And Michael Kelly, who we used to speak to when he was with the ACC. He and I had many an interview in which we agreed or disagreed or agreed to disagree. But I always appreciated his candor and his willingness to come on the air and answer to my complaints or our collective complaints, including the Nigel Bradham play. It was Michael Kelly that I interviewed. interviewed afterwards and said, what would you have had him do? And he didn't have a good answer for that. I believe there was some stuttering. But he handled it like a champ outside of the stuttering and then tried to answer it and hemmed and hawed a little bit.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how USF is building its empire, so to speak. And part of it was the medical school that they have in downtown Tampa that's along the water.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's part and parcel to the efforts that are being made by the Lightning's owner. That's how I'm more interested in it than I would be like, who cares?
Yeah.
But if you think about what they're doing, they're partnering with Tampa General and, there are great medical institutions down there in the city of Tampa. It's not Shands, Gainesville and UF. That's an amazing facility.
Shands is awesome. Yeah.
But Tampa is saying, look, we're going to have cutting edge medical technologies and opportunities in a better media market than that podunk town in the middle of the state that nobody wants to live in. And that's how they're going to make their pitch.
And for many reasons, this is why I thought Deion Sanders should have taken the USF job.
A richer alumni base. What does it lead to? A richer alumni base who is willing to give back, reinvest. It's already in a giant media market. This is how it feeds on itself.
Most major programs also understand that having a vital football program is paramount.
So you've got AAU status, a world-class medical school.
And you get to live in a fun city. Well, it can get a little loose, but a fun city nonetheless.
A dangerous city. Very dangerous, but that appeals to recruits. Yeah. That appeals very much to recruits. So you could see how in 10 or 20 years, this is going to be a real issue.
So I bring it up for that very reason. How does this affect Florida State? How does it affect Miami? How does it affect Florida? How does it affect Power 5? I thought Michael Kelly was interesting. Quote, obviously, we want to be a dominant leader in the American Athletic Conference. Now, this is the classic Jeff Cameron Show PR firm, way to go, Michael moment. He begins by complimenting the conference, the also-ran conference that nobody cares about that they're in, which is a setup to where they want to go. It's a perfect thing to do, right? Let me compliment you before I spit on you. Let me get your defenses down. Obviously, we'd like to be a dominant leader in the American Athletic Conference. And we do that in some areas. We haven't done it in others yet. This is going to help us achieve that, to be more competitive, to be attractive to anyone else that would be looking for partners. Oh, man. So, wait, Michael, do you want to be dominant in the AAC? Or is this is a beauty pageant for somewhere else? Which is this? Which is it you're doing here? I want to read the quote again. Obviously, we'd like to be a dominant leader in the American Athletic Conference. We do that in some areas. We have not done it in others. This is going to help us achieve that, to be more competitive, but also be attractive to anyone else that would be looking for partners. I can be bought. Hello, we're on the market.
That's why I like to call the AAC the MTAEC, the means to an end conference. And we look forward to dominating the MTAEC for some time here in the near future.
Oh, it's so well done, Michael Kelly. This is a woman working out every day, looking nice, wearing clothes that accentuate her newfound body. And she's loyal to Jerry. Her and Jerry, Jerry and I, but if Mitch calls,
game over.
I'm just saying. Jerry's like, you look great. Thanks, hon. I've always wanted to look good for you, Jerry. Keith, too. Keith. My brother Keith lives in Texas. I'm just, hey. The Big 12 is the most obvious option at this point. Has been open about its desire to expand its national reach. Colorado, Arizona, potential targets. We've heard that recently, right? That's a big deal. And there have been recent conflicting reports about other schools, including their interest in Memphis as well. Maybe Memphis as well. USF is, in essence, throwing their name in the hat with Memphis, Colorado, and Arizona. What about us? We're looking good these days. Got an on-campus facility.
On-campus facility and stadium. Media market, top 25 in the country. We know you like eyes on sets.
That's funny.
You get the I-4 corridor in this conference.
I loved, which, by the way, is hell on earth if you've got to drive it or wait to get in the lane to get and access it.
Also, you will see.
Not unlike McDonough.
You will see. That's correct. You will see the best. And I'm putting it in air quotes for those listening.
Yeah.
The best of Tampa on I-4. just brazenly breaking laws, going 95 miles an hour in the emergency lane in the shoulder of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
We don't get many of these outstanding dual-purpose quotes from our leaders these days, not without it being too obvious and too convoluted. This is perfect. We love it here in the AAC. What a wonderful conference. And certainly if there are others out there noticing our steps forward, we'd be interested in talking to them as well.
Would have been a great thing to say over in Amelia Island, wouldn't it? Something akin to that. Love this guy. I'm fully confident.
We're very happy in the ACC. And, if the SEC were to notice the way that we've improved our status within this great conference, that would... Sir. You just backhanded the conference on your way out the door.
I love Amelia, but Sandestin sometimes, it just calls your name.
Oh. So keep an eye on USF. I always thought it would have happened sooner rather than later, but it has been later because we brought this up some time ago. I remember when the debate was on between USF and UCF. People forget that at one time USF rose to number 2 in the country and had an opportunity to keep it going. Head coach decided to strangle somebody in the locker room. That was the end of that. But had Mr. Leavitt kept his hands to himself, who knows what would have happened with USF?
Yeah, that's true. That was the year where the number 2 team in the country always lost. Always lost.
Yeah, and some of the teams that were ranked at number 2 at the time, you're like, what the hell?
One of them was Boston College.
How is this even possible?
And Bryce was born.
That's correct. And a Geno Hayes pick 6. Rest in peace, Geno. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey guys, our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it quite literally every single day. I began using AG1 because I'll be honest with you, I don't like to take a bunch of pills and vitamins, and I just wanted something that tastes great, was quick, and easy to remember. So I do it. I do it every morning when I wake up. I certainly have it right after my coffee and before I work out. And I will tell you this too, it is a simple, effective investment for your health. You can try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/JCS. Again, that's all you got to do is go to drinkag1.com/JCS. That's drinkag1.com/JCS. Check it out. It's delicious. It's quick. It's easy. It's proven. Vitamins, probiotics, whole food source nutrients. Start your day with it. You'll feel better. I promise.
To begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problem that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
If you've been considering getting a new hot tub or upgrading your existing hot tub, now's the absolute best time to do it. Hot Spring Spas has the jets on full blast, and the prices right now have never been hotter. You can find huge savings at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, and we mean huge. For a limited time, you can get up to $5,000 off in instant discounts and rebates, plus 60 months no interest financing for qualified buyers. You heard that right, $5,000 in discounts. And that's not all. When you buy a hot spring spa from Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, you'll get a free consultation to determine the best placement in your yard for installation, a free accessory of your choice, and install can be completed in just a matter of days. It's the most aggressive rebate program that's ever been available to buyers from Hot Spring Spas. So stop by Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road today to check out their 12,000 square foot showroom with over 50 hot tubs on site. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Hey, this is your stomach speaking. It's time to eat again. We met deadlines and closed out the workday like a boss. The last thing you want to do is cook dinner. Even worse, pick up any fast food garbage. We need something good, something local. We need foodiestakeout.com. An all-star lineup of local spots like Smitty's Tap House, El Jalisco, Jerry's Cafe, Hangar 38, Metro Deli, and more. It's so easy. Just choose pickup or delivery, and let's eat the good stuff. I'm growling already. Visit foodiestakeout.com.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
To make some money out there for the U.S. Open as we all watch in prime time and celebrate. Oh, yeah, an easy one. This one's obvious, but I think the number works for you if you're just looking for a top 20, and also speaks to how good he's been without winning a major, that is. Xander Schauffele to bet in the top 20 is a safe one as he continues to be a model of consistency in these events. That's why it's maddening. Everybody bets on him or picks him to win it, and he never does, but he's always right there with a chance on Sunday. It's Xander Schauffele. I will note for that number, if you're getting it at a decent price for top 20 bets, in major championships, the tally in the top 20 for Xander in his career is 16 of 24, which is impressive to have that many top 20 finishes in majors. By the way, Tom, you know what it is in the U.S. Open for Xander Schauffele? Top 20 finishes in the U.S. Open.
How many events has he played?
He's played in 6 U.S. Open.
We'll go with 6 then.
Yeah, it is 6.
Just figured it was however many years he's been there.
Yeah, it's 6 for 6 in U.S. Opens. Very, very, very impressive. So, top 20.
I'm much more of a chalk player in this particular tournament.
These days, by the way, your majors are all being won by superstars.
Right, exactly. So, top 5 payouts or top 10 payouts, I think, are the way to go with some of the favorites. So, for example, Brooks is paying out plus money in the top 10. So, it's plus 125.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's safe money. I think if you want to take a medium risk, top 5 is paying out over 2.5 to 1.
Wow.
I mean, come on. The guy's a top 5 machine. This is his type of event. The only thing that would have held me back was the grass type on the greens. You're telling me it's bent.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Full steam ahead. Same thing. John Rahm played at this course. It's very different now with the USGA setup. But Rahm played this course in a collegiate event.
At Arizona State when he was a freshman All-American.
So he's well-versed in this course. He actually had photographic memory of some of the shots he hit when he was interviewed.
I've started to notice that about him is very similar to Tiger. He does it all the time. He'll be like, well, that's like number 11. And you're like, Jesus.
Top 5 is 2 to 1. He's been quiet for a month and a half. I think that's a reasonable risk to take. Top 5, not to win. Top 5 paying out 2 to 1. Cam Smith is another one. A lot of the people around the grounds this week are talking about the layout of the course fits Australian golfers. This is a very Australian-style golf course, which was also that's kind of tied to Scotland and some of the Open Championship courses where Cam Smith has dominated. 6 to 1 for a top 5. I mean, it's plus 600. Come on, what are we doing here? I like chalk this week.
It's value. I mean, I get your value there. I mean, 30 to 1 for Cam Smith is unbelievable.
Right. To win. Yeah, to win the whole thing.
To win the whole thing.
And Max Homa is, the local kid. He's shot really well on this course before the USGA upped it. He really plays well in California. You'll hear a lot about that.
He's also horrible in majors.
He is.
Horrific.
So if you want to walk the line for a top 10, your first page of the leaderboard finish, 3.5 to 1.
I like Max Homa, the person, the player. I enjoy his golf swing as well. And that's oftentimes how I view guys. Like, do I like your golf swing? If your golf swing's hideous, you can be the greatest guy in the world, but I'm not picking you because I hate
you
that.
hate
Sorry.
Jim Furyk? You hate him?
Oh, I hate him. Ridiculous ass swing. But, I like Homa, but man, his numbers in majors are awful. Awful. Where do you put Colin Morikawa? Same thing, California guy.
Yeah.
It's 1-2 majors.
He's not very high up on the futures list.
He's 25-1 to win. Jordan Spieth's the better value there. I don't know what to do with Hideki Matsuyama, who plays hard golf course as well, but the problem is his neck has been bothering him. So
Morikawa's dropped to 30-1. You get him 6-1, top 5. I just like having that room to meander on a Sunday. I can make a wager at the 36-hole mark for a winner, unless I'm playing a long shot. But, if you're in the final couple of pairings and I've got you on a top 5 or a top 10, I'm feeling pretty good that I'm going to cash at the end of the day. And I might, lob some of those wins that I'm assuming as lives on Sunday.
If you want to look back at the previous U.S. Opens, and I won't go back too far, these were the odds on your eventual winner before the tournament started. Okay, these are what the odds were coming in, and then they went on to win. Matthew Fitzpatrick won the U.S. Open at 30-1 in 2022. John Rahm won it at Torrey Pines at 10-1. Bryson DeChambeau won at Winged Foot 25-1. My God, you could get him now at 700-1.
40-1.
Gary Woodland at Pebble Beach, Tom, 80-1. Here he won it. Koepka in 18 was 25-1 at Shinnecock Hills. Koepka in 17 at Erin Hills, 45-1. By the way, winning score at Erin Hills was 16 under.
Yeah, astronomical.
Fast forward to Shinnecock, and he won it at +1. Oakmont, Dustin Johnson won 4 under. The winning scores are fun to look at too. We haven't had too many. Obviously, this is famously the U.S. Open, a goal to try to really test every facet of every golfer's game, and they want the winning score to be around par. But it's fascinating. You go back to 2010. It's all the way to 2010 that Graham McDowell won.
Yeah, is that Pebble?
That was Pebble, 80-1, even par won. And that was even par.
Tiger and Ernie Els were in contention for that major, I remember.
Rory McIlroy won the following year and was
record
16 under.
Yeah. That was congressional.
Webb Simpson won at the Olympic Club, +1. Webb Simpson's the most forgotten about major winner ever. Has to be, right? Like, we're never like, oh, look at old Webb's got him a major.
He's got a players too.
I know. Justin Rose won at Marion. +1 was the winning score.
Ooh, that was Phil again.
Martin Keimer, which nobody remembers.
He lapped the field.
Pinehurst, 9 under. Jordan Spieth, Chambers Bay. I mentioned him, 5 under. Dustin Johnson, Oakmont, 4 under.
Chokey, Dustin in the Chambers Bay. Dear God.
Koepka, 16 under, then +1. Woodland, -13. And that is an all-time great performance, by the way, because Brooks was right on his heels there.
And then that was it. It was those two.
Yeah. So Fitzpatrick last year at -6.
With an epic shot out of the bunker on hole 72 of the tournament. That was unbelievable. And after you see this previous PGA championship and two guys with a real chance to win not being able to clear the bunker on 16 or 17.
Sticking in this.
It was Hovland and what's his face the day before, who was
Connors.
He was, in it, leading the whole tournament. It really underscores how good that shot was from Matthew Fitzpatrick.
It's crazy good.
Yeah.
They flashed back to some of the Tigers' ridiculous fairway bunker shots over the years, too, carrying water from 230 out of the sand to within 5 feet and stopping it on the back. What is this? There are these moments where the other players are like, really? You're gonna do that, are you?
Yes, really.
That's what we're doing here.
What you think about that?
That's the famous story of Ernie Els clapping when they're playing overseas, and he hit a ball out of mud from like 260 with an iron and ran it up to the green. Ernie's like, well, okay. You win. I don't have that shot. Just disgusted.
Yeah, we've all been in that moment, pickup games or video games or whatever competition.
You're going to do that, are you? You're going to do that.
Congratulations. Made it again.
How about that?
Look at you win.
Want to talk Florida State recruiting next. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3. I almost said 33. There's no 33.
Said what?
It's 93.3. Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man was restrained by a Leon County school guardian and a staff member after he entered the campus of Astoria Park Elementary Tuesday morning. The incident happened before 10 a.m. The school was placed in lockdown during the incident. The man experienced a mental crisis and was taken to the hospital following the incident. Summer school is in session and students were on campus. It is unclear why the person was at the school. TPD said the man would not be charged with a crime at this time. A free fresh produce market is taking place Saturday for those in need in the Thomasville area. Free vegetables and fruits will be available on a limited basis. The produce market, hosted by Thomasville's Rotary Club, will be held Saturday, June 17th from 8:30 to 10:30 at Weston Park, located on Felix Street. Those interested are advised to follow traffic instructions on Felix Street upon arrival. The fresh produce will only be available to households who meet USDA TFAP guidelines. TFAP forms will be provided to be completed before receiving any produce. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy skies expected this afternoon with a chance for scattered thunderstorms. Daytime highs approaching 90, southwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 74. Cloudy skies. Overcast skies tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Daytime highs approaching 89. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 89.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Visiting, the quality of player has increased greatly, and that is a reason that I continue to get really excited about where this is headed. And Tom, I will tell you, I think, buddy, we are close to getting another fairly sizable commit. I'm not breaking any, no big commit stories on the JCS typically, unless I project a defensive tackle and get it right again.
The one thing I would say, just from the outside looking in, and it's a who's who list at this point for Florida State. People considering finalist lists. If you want Florida State to close in a top 5 class, head over to the Battle's End because there are a lot of dudes that want to come here. And man, I think we are now operating in a stratosphere of interest that could use more people to make it all happen, bring it on home.
It has been a talking point of ours for a while that, look, there are a lot of people who work really hard at these camps. A lot of people that work very hard at these camps that cover it for us and that cover it for the other team sites, and they're out there all day long when they have these camps. And I'm never out there. I'm not covering these camps. It's not what I do.
Someday.
I certainly I certainly look at the names.
I know you aspire to that
Oh,
promotion.
can't wait to sit out in the heat and watch 16-year-olds.
You're going to get that promotion someday.
Yeah. But when they do come into town, I look at the names and I look at who else is recruiting them, and I look at where else they're looking at, and I think, okay, how are we matching up? How are we doing? And just look at this year compared to last from this past weekend, and do it, and then go back another year. Like, have some fun, dig into the names and the status of the recruits that are interested in Florida State and have put their money where their mouth is, if you will, by showing up at an Elite 11, right? You know, being and being at a big camp for USA, a showcase. For FSU, a showcase type event. Man, it has done a 180, not unlike our offensive line.
Yeah.
I got so mad a year ago or 2 years ago looking at the kids that were coming here. Man, we're not getting anything. I couldn't really even hardly say it on the air because I didn't want to disparage a high school kid, but I was like, these are bums.
Well,
we're housing bums.
This is where it is borne out. And if you didn't believe it before, I think you'll believe it now. Not you specifically, but people who follow Florida State. This process begins way earlier in an uncomfortable age.
It does. Yeah, it does. It is uncomfortable.
But you have to foster at least a foundational groundwork for kids at 14 and 15 years old.
Got to build relationships. You got to be an option.
And that's where the pandemic and being bad at football really hurt us until recently. We had fostered these relationships for the long term, for the 24 kids and 25 kids to some degree this past class, and said, watch how it's going to get better. That was their pitch. Watch, just wait and see. Keep taking our calls in the interim, but wait and see. It's going to happen. And that's why last year was such a huge launching point. You see the fruits that are now there all over the place for all of these camps.
Well, and it's funny because you look at kids that are in the top 100 or top 5 at their position or top 3 at their position. Like, I look at where are they? Where do they rank? How well thought of are they? You know, we always do the also interested in discussion, and you see it's LSU, it's Alabama, it's Florida. You're fighting for teams like that. Now we'll see how long Florida hangs in there. I mean, it takes just another year for Florida to fall off a cliff. If they're as bad this next year as they were this year, you're losing competition. They're no longer going to be in the discussion. Let Miami fool around and suck again, or take another 45-3 ass throttling.
Yeah, a battle's end. Director, you got him to flinch there.
Mm-hmm.
The battle's end, Gainesville does not have. Just period. They are not competitive in the sphere the way that we are. And you can see that on a day-by-day basis with a lot of kids that maybe had Florida in their top 10 or their top 5. Boy, Florida's not getting said yes to as much as they thought they were going to. Yeah, they got a kid who's an alignment from Germany today. Congratulations on that. But these top-level skill position players and trench monsters are continually picking Georgia or Tennessee or us, or in one case, UCF over Florida.
It's important that you win these battles along the offensive and defensive line and more routinely than you have been. And that's got to continue to get better. I feel like we've won a lot of battles for interior linemen, and that is good. Obviously, you've got to build that way up the middle. But, man, we're not hitting home off the edges right now. Now, I've been told by people who cover recruiting nationally that there hasn't been an overabundance of elite defensive ends. And so we haven't been able to get our share. I'm talking about high school recruits at that position. But we got to do better there, because I think after this year, you're going to take a hit and you're going to be a little worried about it.
Yeah, you're going to have to find a third in a row of a Jermaine Johnson, Jared Verse. It's going to be very difficult.
It just seems unlikely. But also, we're noticing a trend over the last few years that the core of the elite players in the trenches come from the high school ranks typically. Now, that there are exceptions, but the core does typically.
Well, you could see how the monies would shake out in theory, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but Patrick Payton would be paid a lion's share to be retained because he would be very scarce, his kind of skill set. I think I was very impressed by the end of spring camp with Lamont Green Jr.'s quicks. And as a specialist on third down, I think he can contribute as soon as next year. Of course, he has to get larger to be able to play.
Got to hit the Bama table, baby. We got to get it going, Josh.
I hear you there. But on third downs, as a specialist, when it's passing situations, I think that Lamont Green is already got the quick twitch that you're looking for at Florida State of that caliber. We'll see how his body develops.
Got to get a lot bigger, yeah. And in a hurry. We're going to need him. Like, not this year, but next.
Yeah.
Let's get in that weight room. Let's eat the supplements along with the foods necessary to build the kind of size and strength to go along with the quickness you already possess.
Maybe 3 portions.
Top schools in 2022 in athletic revenue, according to USA Today Sports. Guys, didn't see this? Here's the list of the top 25 schools in revenue. Important list to be a part of. The first thing you did as a Florida State fan was, we're in the top 25, yeah? Yes? Yes? Yes, the answer is yes. Then you quickly checked, are we in the top 20? Yes? 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 Yes. Are we in the top 10? No. No. Okay. Something to aspire to. Something has to happen. Some things have to change. But there's also some other evidence of why we're all clamoring to get off this boat and to get into the one that seems to be the comfort of the SEC. Oh, what a cruise ship that is. Here you go. Number 1, Ohio State at $251 million. Texas at $239 million comes in at number 2, despite never winning anything ever at all. Alabama, $214 million, number 3. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, LSU. Number 7, Texas A&M. Number 8, Florida. Number 9, Penn State. Number 10, Oklahoma. Number 11, Auburn. Number 12, Michigan State. Goodness. Number 13, Indiana. How? Virginia at 14. Florida State comes in at 15 at $161.1 million. Virginia, the team ahead of them, was at $161.9. Kentucky 16, Clemson 17, Tennessee 18, Oregon 19, Arkansas 20, and the final 5, Iowa, Wisconsin, Louisville, Illinois, and Washington. So let's look at the Big 12 schools. Texas at number 2, which will be an SEC school after this year. That'll hurt your feelings, Big 12. Oh, we scroll down not too far to Oklahoma, which will be an SEC school. So now let's see the number of Big 12 schools. Oh, that'd be none. None. ACC, Virginia, Florida State, Clemson, Louisville. Is that it?
Where the hell does Virginia spend it?
On a dominant baseball program and a very good basketball program that loses early, except for the 1 year they didn't.
A lot of money on the 2 programs.
Now, I'm sure it's in lacrosse. It's a dominant lacrosse program.
Ain't season tickets.
Probably swim with the best of them. Perhaps fencing. High-level fencing and debate teams at Virginia.
Lacrosse.
I said lacrosse. Yeah, lacrosse.
Which counts twice in their budget.
So that's the top 25. Florida State sits at 15. Hey, look, big scheme of things, you're right there. You won't be for much longer.
So the revenue disparity between us and Florida in terms of dollars,
$190 million for Florida. Florida State at $161 million.
Oh, so you're saying the difference in the TV payouts, the future difference in that. Okay, that's simple.
Those numbers will be altered dramatically once we look at this list again in a couple of years, and that TV revenue that you're talking about is included.
There's also a trailing effect to these numbers.
That's
there always
what I mean.
is.
Yeah,
this is 21 to 22.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't even the most recent figures. We won't get those till next summer for what we're living in right here, right now.
Makes you nervous. Keep on keeping on. Better keep winning.
I'll bet we're higher. I think we're probably top 12 or top 10 next year, because I believe the support for the athletic programs in this last calendar year for us has gone up. And it's not like the payouts and the disparity has gotten wider.
Right.
So I think next year we'll have a false sense of security.
It'll be fool's gold before you see the following list where you're like, oh, man. Come back, do some probables just a moment. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Jimmy Fasig at Fasig Brooks. We hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Discover the taste of Peru at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. Con amor y pasión, with love and passion, Café de Martín is a fine Peruvian dining experience in an approachable, comfortable, cultural-rich space built for creating memories to last a lifetime. Enjoy happy hour daily with a full bar, handcrafted cocktails, beers on draft and bottle, paired with a selection of Peruvian tapas like crispy fried yuca with house-made huancaína sauce, carefully selected charcuterie boards, a selection of fresh ceviches, and so much more. It's Café de Martín and El Bar. Escape to Peru, a country of great culture, beauty, and food right here in the capital city. Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Zaxby's signature sandwich. You're missing out. It towers above all the others in size and deliciousness. It's big. It's delicious. It's only at your neighborhood Tallahassee Zaxby's. Your Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Golden Chief booster for 18 years. Go Noles. Also, thanks to our friends at Power Mill as we get set for probables here in just a moment. Power Mill Training Academy, equipping your young athlete who, focused on baseball, maybe it's softball, specific tools, reach their potential. All you ever want your kids to do, reach their potential, right? Makes the game more fun. Got camps going on this summer. Check it out, powermillsports.com. Both softball and baseball camps. A lot of fun there. My kids have gone and enjoyed themselves. Over 45 years of experience, over 2,000 alumni there at Power Mill. Powermillsports.com. Probables, Tom, cue it.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
They're in the sixth. Atlanta and the Tigers in Detroit, 7-5. Atlanta leads. Spencer Strider, Reese Olson. Minnesota leading Milwaukee. Good job, Dr. Quinn's Twins. Up 4-2 in the sixth on Milwaukee. That was Colin Ray and Bailey Omber. St. Louis, 5-2 over San Francisco currently. The Giants in the sixth. That's Anthony DeScalfini and Jordan Montgomery. Blue Jays, Orioles tonight. Jose Barrios, Kyle Bradish. We got the Rockies and the Red Sox. Austin Gomber, Garrett Whitlock. Yankees, Mets. Ooh, Subway Surf.
That's right.
You guys have been sucking lately.
Oh.
High levels of butt sorry.
With good offense for the most part. Can't pitch.
Well, we got a matchup tonight. Let's see what happens. Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander tonight at 7:10. Worth watching.
Yankees minus 250.
My beloved Buccos against the Cubs in Chicago, Wrigley Field. Osvaldo Vito and Drew Smiley. Osvaldo making his first career start in the bigs. Angels, Rangers, Reed Detmers, Andrew Haney. We got the Reds and the Royals. Ben Lively, Daniel Lynch. Nationals, Astros, Josiah Gray, Framber Valdez. Guardians, Padres, Aaron Savelli and Michael Wacha. Rays, A's. The Rays lost to the A's last night. The A's have won 7 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world is going on in Oakland? Tyler Glasnow starts for the Rays. Luis Medina starting for the A's. Phillies, D-backs. Rangers, Suarez, Merrill Kelly. Marlins, Mariners, Yuri Perez, Luis Castillo, and finally the White Sox and the Dodgers late tonight. Mike Clevenger, Clayton Kershaw. That is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. That's seconds or minutes? Minutes. Is that what you said?
Minutes.
Guys, I got good news for you. If you listen to the pod, if you catch up on the pod, my new ad for AG1 is not 5 minutes long.
That's correct.
You're going to be very excited to listen to the new AG1 ad.
The video people have already got it. They've already seen it twice.
Yeah, it's already happened.
A tight 63 seconds.
It's going to be 63 seconds, not 3.5 minutes.
You know what's also tight as the kids used to say? 50% off. Warchant ends at midnight tonight. New subscribers.
50% off for new subscribers?
Annual subscription.
That picture we used for the 50% off annual subscription to warchant.com and on 3 for subscribers only on the TV here on the Warchant television is a really good one, man. Good choice. Did you pick that? Or did Ben?
Ben picked it.
Good job, Ben.
Yeah.
I like that. Makes me smile thinking about Doe Campbell Stadium. I think about it more and more every day that we get closer to the season. I mean that. I do. I'm really pumped for this season. I can tell many others from outlying areas are also pumped. I'm getting the rare calls these days from people that live all over the country. Hey, you got anybody in town for the week of such and such?
Yep. So it is. Which is interesting because if we're being honest, home slate,
home slate sucks.
It's all about getting together, watching us kick some ass, and then going to the bar and watch the other top 5 teams play. That's what this year's about, as long as you can split in September.
We used to do it. We used to do it in 2012, 2013, 2014. We had a blast doing that sort of thing. We'd go out and about, meet at the bars. I would get Margarona as we celebrated others' misfortunes or big wins that helped and aided Florida State's endeavor.
That's why I'm rooting for noon kickoffs, so we can see all of these games.
And I could meet you for a Margarona as we watch so-and-so lose in the waning moments.
Hey, man.
Thus elevating Florida State into the top 5.
Noon kickoff means that I'm a free agent around 5:30 after the postgame show.
It's funny. Noon kickoffs, as Madison Social brings up often, suck, right? Not anymore. Not when you're old. Now you want to kick it off at 10 a.m.?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's kick it off first thing tomorrow morning, guys. 7 a.m. kickoff. Let's go. What are we waiting on here?
We practiced at that time anyway. Let's
Have
do
the
it.
game wrapped up by 11 a.m. Go get a good lunch in you and watch football the rest of the day.
What if we cornered the market
for the 11 a.m. kickoff?
Yes.
No, man.
Why not?
No, that is so selfish for you and me. There's no chance. People having to travel would be like, what?
Is it selfish?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. Might be cutting edge.
Hey, the Pac-12 was offered all sorts of insulting things like that. Hey, nobody's watching your game, guys, so why don't we start you kicking off games at 10 a.m.? Get you going at 10 a.m., huh? It's the way they used to treat USF. Yes, USF, I'm going to ask that you move your game against Cincinnati to Wednesday, 6 p.m., Wednesday. No, middle of the week. How do we you're playing Wednesday, guys. You're playing Wednesday.
What is your least favorite start time?
Oh, these days? 8 o'clock, 7:30, those late games. Yeah. It used to be my favorite by far.
I think it's 3:30.
But we work them.
3:30.
We work them now. So, if you got to wait to work at 8, that's not cool.
3:30 is hard, though, because then
you get screwed. You get screwed more than I get screwed. I do pregame shows.
I can't watch the full game in any window.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Except ours, which I love ours.
You miss out.
But yeah.
But yeah, man, give me the earlier the better. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Peace.